Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to, welcome to this week's episode of Paranormal Lens. I'm Jamie Widener, your host, and my co-host Jott-Nyx is over there. Hey,
Right
Jed,
here.
what's going on, buddy?
You seemed surprised we were going on the air there, Jamie.
I never know if it's going to work. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, we're
So,
here. We're
so
here.
what you guys don't see is that we're here, in this space together before we go live, and I tend to, while the music's playing, I get so excited. I just do a little, I'm dancing in my chair and so forth. And I'm praying one of these times it doesn't just stop and go live automatically because I'm going to look like a fool, more so than usual anyway. So that's why I'm laughing when I came in because I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be the time. But it's a catchy tune. I can't help myself.
Yeah, it is.
So anyway.
Anyway. So
what is going on? How was your week?
It's been good. I saw Steve Dills again this weekend. Got down to the Hanover Tavern. I would recommend it. Great historic place. Great food at the tavern. I had lunch with him on Friday. Amazing food. And great guy to hang out with for an hour in person after 2 hours on Tuesday night. So and then
2 hours plus, sir.
2 hours plus. Then he took me around the tavern, showed me stuff. We talked about the Paracon that's coming up. So maybe we'll have to dig into that a little bit more before January 19th, which is when that is. But it should be a good time. So
now, I want to qualify something. The Hanover Tavern is not in Hanover, PA, very close to where we are.
Correct.
Very much in your neck of the woods. But Hanover Tavern is in
Hanover, Virginia.
Right.
Just outside of Richmond. So
it's a bit of a road trip, right?
Mm-hmm, it is.
Okay.
So, but it'll be well worth it. So
okay, perfect. So, historical property, National Historical Register, lots and lots of history throughout the building and the area, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And Richmond, of course, is one of the hot spots from the Civil War era, being the capital of the Confederacy. Lots and lots of cool stuff to see and do in the area outside of just being the paranormal, the spooky world. So.
And right outside the tavern is the Hanover Courthouse, the old Hanover Jail, the Hanover Library. Like, it's a complete little complex, a courthouse complex. So
fantastic.
It'll be pretty cool. So anyway, we'll get to that further down the road.
All right. Yeah, excellent. I think we did an episode, so put it on the schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another one to do.
Yep.
I can say for myself, we had an interesting weekend at the brewery. So we had a public investigation of boobies Saturday evening. You never know what you're going to get, so it's hard to predetermine that things are going to happen. But we had activity on all kinds of levels, on all the levels of the property as well. The big one for me was, and I have to admit, what I've said this before. Every minute you record or have a device running is a minute you have to go back to get to that to review it, and. No, Tyler beat me to it. So the bang in the catacombs, absolutely, it was nuts. So we were in the vat room. Tyler was with us, and he was sitting near the vats, one of the two top tables. I was standing along the back wall near the vats as well. And in mid-process of just asking and call and response, there was a bang happening in the space that shouldn't have had a bang happen at all. In the vats, right at them, right around the second one in the room, from inside the room.
And if I remember correctly, that's the second time Tyler's been there to witness that. So
yes, exactly. And obviously, if it's happening while we're there, what's happening when we're not? So it's quite curious. And then we had a flashlight set up, 2 lights set up, one on each side of the room, the K2 on the table in the middle, flashlight going off as a yes response and a no on the other, my left and right. And the interesting thing was, as the response was happening at one or the other, the K2 was going off in the interim of the time it would have taken somebody to travel to either one. So
that's
light, K2, light, K2, light. It was really very interesting. So a lot of audio to catch up on. Unfortunately, didn't have video running. I got to get my camera fixed. But it was an interesting night in there, and lots of other stuff. So we'll get to that some other time.
But we'll just prelude. We've got one more investigation left.
We do. Gosh, and obviously there will be more next year. We just don't have a schedule yet, so we're not done by any means. After next weekend, we just don't have the date set up for next year yet. We're working with Sam at the brewery. We'll have more soon.
but
So
definitely.
interesting. So, and you did you do some investigating or try to do some investigations while you were there?
When I was
Williamsburg, though. I mean, more so.
I was in Williamsburg. There's nothing there that's really well. They have ghost tours. So I
Okay.
went on a ghost tour with my friend Scott the other night. Felt some things in some of the buildings, but I didn't get to investigate. I was there for what they call Grand Illumination, which is when they open their celebratory season for Christmas. They light the lights, they have fireworks,
Okay.
stuff like that. It's really cool. They have what they call crescents in the streets. It's the metal basket where they would build fires in the streets to light the streets at night. So they had the one street lined with that. And it was pretty cool. But I was trying. There's an old oak tree that I was trying to get under to do some maybe EVP sessions. But it was too the oak tree is sick, so they won't let anybody under it right now. It was roped off,
Okay.
and it was just too noisy anywhere else. So I was like, I
Uh,
tried, but I didn't get anything. A little bit of like spirit talker stuff, but some fit, some didn't. So
Okay.
anyway,
Well, yeah, and that's
so,
the challenge of being out in the public, outside space, first of all, and then obviously in public too.
So I
There's
know you
always
suggested maybe go back after it was quieter, but it was late. So maybe next time I'm down there, I'll stay later and try to
longer,
do
right?
it
Yeah.
and not upset security.
Yeah, you don't want to get banned. That's for sure.
So, but there were definitely some stories on some of the buildings. There one of the buildings is considered like the most haunted building in the Chesapeake Bay area, if not like the East Coast.
Oh, wow.
Some
Okay.
really freaky stories. So,
Well, we do that kind of stuff,
that's
So
right.
speaking of freaky stories,
Uh-huh.
so this episode is too conveniently scheduled around Krampus Nacht, which is German for Krampus Night, which is technically today. The eve of December 5th is the night that in the 12th century, so a long time ago, Christmas really began tonight. And with that, on the good side of life, if you were the good kid or you did all the right things, Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas would come tonight. He wasn't Santa Claus yet. He can get all his extra names, I guess. But if you were the bad kid, then Krampus would visit you instead.
So we've got both here. I don't know if you noticed that Jim's in the house, so we got Santa's.
We got Santa, right. So okay, we got the good side. So let's talk about what happens when you're the bad kid.
Okay.
So we have a video to show you. I think we'll roll that first, and then we'll delve a little deeper into the rest. So,
all right, here we go.
Make the magic happen, Chad.
Be cool, man. Be cool.
Oh, nice one, Krampus.
All right, I want to call out that was created by Screen Novelties in a stop motion thing, so definitely want to give that credit to them. So that was pretty cool.
And a great production as well. That was fun. I've laughed at it every time I've seen it, which has been several times now. If only Krampus were so nice and so generous with his punishment of just knocking some snow down from a bough. Krampus really is not. So that guy. So the folklore of Krampus began back in the 12th century in Austria and Bavaria, which is now Germany. The name Krampus is derived from Krampen, which is German for claw. So right off the bat, it tells you, something a little more ominous. He is believed to have been the son of Hel from Norse mythology. Norse mythology. It's hard to say. And has characteristics of the satyrs and faun from Greek mythology as well. So kind of a surreal, unique being that Krampus is. He is a half goat, half demon monster that punishes misbehaving children. So right there, you got it. The idea that the kid was throwing snowballs at his pet, tormenting it, and Krampus punished him by making him a snowman and knocking some snow on him. If it were only that gentle. So he is generally described to have either pointed or curled horns, dark hair, bloodshot eyes, fangs, and a long tongue. Go to the next slide, please. He's said to carry chains as well as bells and a bundle of birch sticks as a large sack, which he might abduct really bad children and carry them off with. So Krampus is the devilish companion of the benevolent St. Nicholas, who now we know as Santa Claus, thought to be originally part of pagan rituals for the winter solstice, although that's a very speculative thing. And with the widespread growth of Christianity, he became associated with Christmas simply because you had to have the good and the bad.
Right.
As a result of being tied into Christianity, there was a time that the Catholic Church worked to ban him, and that even continued into the 20th century. So in a time frame where some of us may have been alive, Krampus was frowned upon in the church. Interestingly, in World War II, fascist groups also forbade Krampus as he was deemed to be the creation of social democrats. So, the political spin has to come into this as well as it does in all kinds of walks and things that we do. So, interesting. Krampus is believed to have arrived on the eve of December 5th today, as this is when Christmas was celebrated in the 11th and 12th centuries and up through a little longer until we kind of took it into becoming December 25th with the spread of Christianity a little further and wider. German tradition has Christmas festivities beginning in early December, hence the 5th. He is said to beat misbehaving children with sticks or branches in their beds and sometimes throw them into a local stream. Also said to stuff the very bad children into sacks so as to either torture and or eat them in his lair in hell. So quite interesting. And then kids would either wake up on December 6th to find gifts from St. Nick or wounds from Krampus. That is, if they woke up at all. So next slide. And here, the idea here, St. Nick is the benevolent, bringing good things, but Krampus is always watching. I think that's really interesting. Currently, and into the modern era, there are celebrations called Krampuslauf or Krampus Run that have begun to gain in popularity. Krampuslauf involves people dressed up as Krampus, parading through the streets, scaring and sometimes tasing the spectators. And you can guarantee alcohol is involved in this. Because why not, right? It's Germany. Why not? In some cases, parents will invite a Krampus impersonator into their home to scare their misbehaving children. And you can see you have one of these guys show up in your room in the middle of the night. No bueno. This is talk about being scared straight to the max. I don't know. How would you feel, Chad?
I don't know.
Cool.
Thank you. I'll pass.
Krampus began to become part of pop culture, including films and TV specials. There's lots and lots of digital media out there with Krampus engaged in it. Some believe that Krampus was created back then to counter the increasing commercialization of Christmas. So, everything is interesting to say that Santa Claus is all over stuff this time of year, and now that we've moved out of the spooky season and away from Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, right? And a lot of us are upset because it starts ever sooner every year. So giving Krampus some space helps to deflect some of that oversaturation of Christmas stuff.
It keeps us in spooky season longer, Jamie.
We're always in spooky season. Come on now, but it gives us something to hang on to. Yes, absolutely. Krampus is a non-traditional way to celebrate the Christmas season, and kind of like Festivus is for the rest of us, right?
Right.
Those who don't want to do Christmas have something else. Krampus parties are very common in Europe this time of year. Many cities in the U.S. host Krampus-themed 5K runs, honoring the traditional Krampus Lauf events. Just not going out and scaring people, but getting out and getting some exercise, usually for a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
Krampus has been featured in numerous television programs and a 2015 feature film, but there are many, many low-budget adaptations out there. And the 2015 film wasn't all that bad.
Okay.
It just didn't get a whole lot of play in the U.S., so it's out there, though. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon Prime. Krampus was parodied not too long ago on Saturday Night Live on one of the news skits. And then I understand that there's even a Krampus-themed rock musical called Get Naughty. So I'm sure that's off Broadway, though. But
yeah,
hey,
hasn't made it to Broadway yet.
It's working its way there. Yeah. Next slide, please. One of the things I thought was really interesting is there is a host of Krampus-themed postcards through the years, and they're called Krampuskarten, and again, German for Krampus card. They became popular in the 1890s, and holiday cards are still available today, although I really doubt they're from Hallmark. But you never know. And if interested, there is a book of these cards published by a gentleman named Monty Beauchamp. Beauchamp. It's very French, and I'm probably saying it wrong. It came from 2004. So quite a lot of them here to see. And, Chad, I can't help but stop and think, with all of the stuff, that we do here, Krampus is one of those things that fits perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an urban legend, one that's grown, a folklore piece that has grown into an urban legend that has, garnered, hundreds of years now worth of activity around it. One of the things, though, a couple of things. There's a lot of undertones to Krampus. And one of the most important ones to me, as I have German heritage and lineage, given the perception that the Germans are a very stoic society, Krampus provides a burst of color and flair into the culture. Even though there's not, he's a dark figure and there's, bad things that happen, it's fun. It's an enjoyable thing. There's parties around it. It's festive in nature.
Right. And this would follow. I mean, you would have Oktoberfest in October.
Right.
They wouldn't have Thanksgiving in November, but this would be the next thing following their Oktoberfest, right?
Yes.
So it sort of keeps the party going.
It does. And ain't no party like a German party. So I'll go there. Just like Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus, Krampus was used by adults as a behavior modificator for children. You got to be good or else Santa won't bring you things. Well, you hear if you're bad, Krampus happens to you.
Right.
Or else, and the stories, I'm sure, have expounded based on the naughtiness of the child or children.
Right.
It may start off with, well, he'll come after you with some switches to, you're getting stuffed in a bag and eating in a cave.
Right.
That's a spectrum, right? Like,
exactly.
Okay, you just didn't go to bed on time here. You did something really bad over there. The scale goes up and the penalty increases with it. It also is traditional, the reflection of the good versus evil, the yin and yang. Santa Claus is the good, Krampus is the evil, the bad. You have to have that tipping point balance between the two. Every time there's a good, there has to be an evil for it to make sense of the good or the evil, either way.
Right.
Krampus taps into our subconscious macabre nature to have bad things happen to people who behave badly. You want the bad guy to be punished. And
right.
that's every movie we've ever watched, right? And Krampus, being a Krampus impersonator, at the party events, allows that person to become mysterious and behave badly without significant risk. Not unlike what we do in our traditional Halloween season, those who go out and knick-knacking, soap windows, that kind of stuff, toilet paper trees, usually under the cover of a disguise in the darkness. This is not much different. but allows that person, at least for a little while, to be free and have some fun. Hopefully not at someone's peril or risk,
Right.
other than a scare or, jump scare, things like that. But it lets you blow off that proverbial steam and just have some fun for a little while. And then, all are in on it kind of thing as well. You don't go to these events unless you know.
Right.
Jim mentioned there's a Krampus festival in Jim Thorpe. I was not aware.
Yep.
So I feel like that's an easy road trip.
Yeah.
So from here, it's 2 hours, give or take.
I don't know. Maybe we can talk Sam into something at the brewery at some point.
Oh my gosh, dude, you're a genius.
You thought of that, or he already does
I
it?
didn't. Oh my gosh, how did I not think of that? All right, I got to call him tomorrow anyway. So we will bring this up. Okay.
I mean, it would fit the brewery with his Halloween
with all
thing.
the fun, all the crazy and fun stuff they do. Absolutely. The Halloween party is a blowout 2-weekend event, kind of thing. Both nights, Friday, Saturday night. It's a big deal. Adding something funny and funky and fun is right up the alley of the establishment. So genius, sir. Genius as always.
Every now and then I get one.
Well, no, you get plenty. I'm going to give you all the credit in the world for that. I honestly, guys, I don't have a whole lot here. So, after last week's 2-something hour episode, I wanted to keep it a little light tonight, have a little fun. But I will say this, as part of my closing of it, is that remember, while Santa Claus may be coming to town later tonight, so is Krampus. And instead of bringing gifts, he is coming for you. So hopefully you were good this year and it doesn't happen at your house.
I
don't know, Chad. I
don't know.
We share some kids. So.
I said to Emmy, we're doing Krampus tonight, what she knew about, or they knew about because of the German class.
Right.
And I'm like, so is Krampus going to stop at the house tonight, or is you going to stop at Jamie's house? And she just laughed. So.
Well, that tells you everything. That's a yes, right?
Yep.
Well, I was leaving work today, and I have a couple coworkers who may be tuning into this. So, hey guys, if you're here, if you're catching it later, but one of my coworkers had no idea what Krampus was, and it gave me a chance to stop and explain. But also, a coworker pulled up on his phone, imagery and such, and it was just so like boom, boom, boom. It's interesting to me, like even though somebody doesn't know something, in minutes you can have something, at your fingertips with the technologies and the access points we all have now in our pockets. Back in the day when these events were happening, and they obviously this is long before technology, it's long before electricity. These events were still big deals in the communities that they were being held in. The idea of having a community party, grew and grew and grew because people wanted to have the opportunity to get out and celebrate and have fun. And that's really what I take to heart with Krampus. It is serious because of what is said to happen to bad kids. But, overall, I think the idea of it being festive and fun is what's taken over. And, give people a chance, and mix a little booze in, bad things can still happen.
Exactly.
But I think on the whole, it is meant to be that light and fun kind of event now. But again, Krampus was pretty dark and spooky, and it was, being drug away in the middle of the night is not a good thing.
Right.
And it might explain how some kids disappeared, who knows, but how stories grow and expand, but it is,
right. Well, and like a lot of other things, it's tempered and it's commercialized.
Sure.
So it's morphed and it isn't as dark as it used to be.
Right. So that's fair. That's very fair. And well, again, as soon as it starts to become a public event, when it's open to the public to go to something, and it's an impersonator, you know that you're safe. I came across images of people with barricades, sawhorses up, and in some cases fencing and so forth. They're behind that, and they know that the impersonator, the person out there doing the stalking, isn't going to get them.
Right.
It's kind of to me, it's in the back of my mind. If I go to a place like Field of Screams or Jason's Woods in our area, but at that haunted house attraction wherever you are in the world, I know, even though it's scary, right? Because you're in the dark and things are happening and people are popping out of nowhere, and somebody's got a chainsaw, and oh my gosh, your mind just explodes with all the stereotypes of all these places. but I know at the end of the day, no one's going to hurt me there. You know,
Right.
I know that part too. And I know I'm there for fun. And, you know, that's why these places and these events are so successful. It gives us that jump scare, you know, that we even though it scares us, we feel safe within it. And without it, you know, like if I was just out in the woods and all of a sudden some dude popped out with a chainsaw, you know, my flight or fright kicks in immediately. You know,
Right.
like I know something is not supposed to happen this way, but it's because it's a non-controlled environment. So, you know, give these kind of events credence. You know, gives us that chance to get the dopamine explosion. You know, and
Right.
get a little scare in, and then you know, get a good laugh afterwards. Probably have a pint. You know, head home and go on to the next day.
Yep.
You know, back in the day, though, you know, you didn't have these things, and you know, Krampus was potentially real to the people in the time. So, how far we've come.
Yep.
So, that's Krampus in a nutshell.
Okay.
And Merry Krampus or Happy
Krampus, Merry Krampus.
Uh-oh. Jim. There it is.
So
I feel better already. So
yeah.
thank you, Jim.
So, well, you know, whatever you believe, you know, Merry Krampus, Happy Krampus, you know, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yep. We thank, you know, everybody out there who does their part in it, and you know, it's all about this season and giving and taking care and, you know, helping people out. So
yeah, and it is, and we're all, you know, it's upon us. There's a lot of stress this time of year to get the things and you know, the physical things that we're you know, people want or we feel they should have, and you know, we run and we hustle and we work all day, and then we try to get this stuff done. You know, where Amazon's showing up every other hour at our homes, and all the other suppliers, and you know, it's hard sometimes to stop and just take a minute. I think if I may tease a little bit here, I think we are planning a little surprise episode between. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. I think we're planning a little fun surprise episode between Christmas and New Year's this year. So hopefully it will give us a chance to show our appreciation of everybody and a little bit of what we do in the paranormal world that we are in with the brewery and such. So we'll tease much more than that because we don't have a plan. We never have a plan, really. We have an outline, I think.
we have
an outline. So,
and if it doesn't happen, then it will happen shortly in the new year.
Shortly thereafter, yeah.
So, I don't know. We have to hook you up with Jim and see what you can do. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, and another thing too, you know, and it's there's some old imagery, and I didn't include it, but there is some imagery of Santa and Krampus, you know, hanging out together, like kind of like, you know, again, the good and the bad. So they have to be a package. So you go find Santa, and he's got him on speed dial, I'm sure.
Exactly. So, well, Jamie, thanks for putting this together. Good job as usual. So appreciate the time you put into it. So.
Right.
And I don't think this is one that we can say it's haunted or paranormal or not. You know, I think it's a folk story, and it's an important part of heritage, and it's worth knowing. So
it is, and you know, it's like anything else. It's lasted because it's slightly plausible. It has some carry in that it is a modificator, you know, a behavior modificator. You know, that's what we do to scare kids, you know, get them to behave the way we want to. And, you know, I'm not surprised I don't hope this isn't a surprise to anybody, but kids have been misbehaving for thousands of years, not just a couple hundred. So
I just thought it was the generations after us, Jamie.
Well, you know, that makes it our fault though. Right. So no, no. You know, and as much as, you know, we have issues with our kids, we were issues to our parents, and our parents were issues to theirs. So, you know, this is just one of those tools in the box of a parent to hopefully be able to get your kids to go to bed on time, eat their vegetables, you know, do their chores, you know, not chase the neighbor's pets around and do stupid stuff. So it was fun.
Yeah. Good comment, Tyler.
Yeah, and there's many people who don't know anything about it. Tyler, you're absolutely right. Thank you. And we Chad and I are trying to find. We have a lot of episodes on queue, but we're also trying to find some stuff that is different than the normal stuff. Hopefully we've been able to provide that over the last bunch of episodes through 30. What episode is this? 30?
33.
33. Holy cow!
Yeah.
That's well. It's one of those things where we're just trying to have fun with it too. So thank you. I'm glad you're with us tonight too. Want to roll to the next?
Yeah.
Okay.
So upcoming events for Jott-Nyx. Like we teased a little earlier, we are to the last one of this year. We don't want you to think they're ending. This is just the last one of this year. I can't believe it's another year coming to an end for investigations. But December 16th, public investigation at Booby's Brewery. Tickets are available at saverstub.com. The link's there. Come out and join us. There's definitely still tickets available for this one. We'd love to have you.
Yep.
Just come out for that last one. A little bit of Christmas. Sometimes what was I going to say? Oh, sometimes singing Christmas carols helps bring out the spirits of the brewery because they were religious and they like to sing. So I remember last year we did some experimentation with playing some Christmas carols in German and got a little bit of feedback from that. So
absolutely.
Throw this question up. I think I know your answer to this, but go ahead.
Yeah. So Tyler, we talked about this earlier on, and I apologize that I have not had in the last 3 days since our investigation an opportunity to pick up my my digital recorder. I know where it is, so at least I know that, but I have not had time to listen yet to get through it. So I will try that very hard for the next something for next week's episode. But no, not yet. But yes, I did have a recorder running. That's the answer to the question. But no, I don't know if I have it yet. I sure hope so. I mean, it's too loud not to. We all heard it in the space. There was 8 of us in the room, and we all went, "Whoa!"
Let me throw back to a couple of weeks ago when it happened before. Yes, we do. We have that one on digital recorder.
Fantastic. So we should be able to compare then. The sound too. Obviously, proximity is an issue where the recorders were placed, but I think if we can both capture it, we can at least compare. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I got some homework as usual. So
so I'm excited. And next year we'll have another good year at the brewery. Next year, I'm looking forward to it. I know when I reached out to Melissa last week, she was getting ready to work with Sam and get the schedule set up. And sounds like there's some other interesting things for the team investigations outside of the brewery.
We always have a slate of road trips, through the year. That's also being finalized. I know we tossed around some big places and some small ones, some local ones and some faraway ones. So it's always finding balance. We all have jobs and home work life balance is always important. This is another thing for all of us to do. When we love to do, don't get me wrong, but it has to make sense for us to be able to do it. And then of course, budget on top of everything else. So, those of in the field know what I mean. Everything comes at a premium. So, finding the nice sweet spot of where it all works is great and wonderful when you can get out and do it. And there's nothing like going out to a site you haven't been to yet. It is exciting. Of course, Heather, you guys will be in the loop. Yeah. It's always exciting to get to a new place you haven't been to before. The farther away, the worse it is, though, because you got to come home, and all the time it takes to get there, it takes to get back. But well worth it when you have a great investigation with people who are interested in the field as well as you are. So it's pretty cool.
Cool. Tyler's got some stuff coming up.
Great.
Jamie, another place we're going to have to get to again next year, because Bert was there and Heather wasn't now. We got to get back out to Whitehill.
Back to Whitehill anytime.
But we're not going to go when it's the hottest day of the year, and we're not going to go when it's the coldest day of the year.
I've been there in mid-November, and it was the basement was great. The speakeasy is a great place because the furnace is down there, and that thing is as big as a car. But with other spots of the house, it was quite chilly and obviously not very well heated. So yeah, there's a sweet spot in the spring and the fall. I think it's ideal, but yeah, definitely like we're going to have to happen. It has to happen.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like Santa's going to be in Bethlehem on December 19th.
Ooh.
So drop in and see him there. He'll be keeping Krampus away. So appreciate that.
Well, and speaking of places to be next year, we can't forget going back to Red Mill. And I'm not saying because Jim's here right now, but in a sense, I did not get there last year with my broken foot. So that's on my list of places to get to. So very, very, we have a lot of things. We got a lot of stuff. So
Heather alluded to it here, but Chris Mendez has put together a video from our thing at White Hill.
Okay.
It's pretty good. I've seen about half of it, so we'll have to share that and show you, James.
Please forward whatever you have. I'll take a look too.
Okay.
Very cool.
So let's jump to what's going on here.
Yeah. So next week we're going to tackle the Jersey Devil.
You can tackle the Jersey Devil. I'm not going to try to tackle him.
Come on now. I got it. I'm on it. Don't worry. A little bit more detail than tonight. Tonight was meant to be fun and light. The Jersey Devil is also a very old tale, hundreds of years old, 200 years or so, not as old as Krampus. And it has some basis, and it's also some expansion of truth and facts. So we'll tackle it. Anybody here who's been to the Pine Barrens, it's still a rural place, even though in the world that we live in, where everything's connected, there's still acres and acres and acres, hundreds of thousands even of acres of just disconnected space from the rest of the world. You can get lost out that way pretty easily. So I find that very curious, on the East Coast, at least, to have such a space still. When you get to the West, the far West, of course, we're still dealing with it in the Southwest, even some, but here, especially as old as the East Coast is in our history, there's probably a reason, and we're going to explore it. So more to come. And Chad, the 19th,
we've got Ron and Lourdes with Staticom Project. I'm really excited about this one. I don't know that we'll get to do anything Staticom live, which would be amazing, but just even playing back some of their stuff. They've got a weekly podcast that I caught part of last night, where they go through and they play evidence from different things, and they've got some fun stuff. They've got interesting stuff. I can't wait. They're also going to be at the Hanover Paracon in January. I was talking to Steve about that the other day, and it's exciting. The work that they're doing is really exciting, and can't wait to learn more about it. So
I'm really excited for this one too. As much as I was excited for Steve last week, and by the way, we for those who stuck with us through that whole episode, I can tell you from my experience, being in the moment with him, I was so intrigued by the detail and depth that he provided. I know a little bit. I thought I knew a little bit, and I did, but I didn't know a lot of it. And the full spectrum of the details that he provided were really cool. And it's just one of those intriguing spaces in the world that what is going on there. So hopefully we can have, and Steve, thank you for that. If you're watching or if you catch this, or if you know Steve, thank him for us. Hopefully we can have him back sometime soon for some other fascinating information. Obviously, we'd like to capture some time around the Paracon to celebrate it and promote it, and maybe maybe do something more closer to it physically. So more to come. Yeah. And then again, we alluded that we didn't have it on the schedule, but the 26th, we're hoping to have a fun kind of end of year wrap up episode of sorts. So more to come on that.
Yep. We're not making any promises because
no promises.
It's Christmas week.
we really don't know what we're doing. So if it happens, it does. If not, we'll figure something else out.
So other than that, here we go. Here's our socials again. So check us out. We want to thank our social media team for what they're doing, putting out there. They're promoting us. They're promoting a bunch of other stuff.
Yep. Great work.
We're look at the groups we follow. I know we follow Uncharted Lancaster. There's a bunch of stuff that they put up. They had a Krampus thing today. They had I think they had a Sickman's Mill thing the other day, Jamie. There's
Yeah.
another place.
Yep. Yeah, it's on the list. Yeah, and they've had some transition of ownership. They might be a little more friendly. In the past, they had not been very welcoming because liability. But what they're doing now is more of a public space with the river, with the Conestoga. I call it the river, but it's not. Well, it's technically a river with tubing and such on the Conestoga and some live events they're doing down there in the warm months. It's an idle space in the cold months, so there might be some opportunity there to visit.
So yeah,
great historical property as well.
Yep. So, well, lots of opportunities in the area. We just have to figure them out.
That is one thing we don't lack, right? Places. It's just time and the ability to get in.
So,
yeah, well said, Bert. Yeah, we love it too. Very cool thing.
Yep.
For those who don't know, Uncharted Lancaster is a website dedicated to off the beaten trail opportunities and activities in and around the Lancaster County area. If you're ever thinking of coming visiting our beautiful area, that is a great add-on to your trip to give you some color and some character outside of the usual trappings of tourism that like our outlets are and the Amish territory is and so forth. Get you a little something different to see and do. It's an active activity site as well. So,
they have some great hikes that they've got on there, and
beautiful work they do. Love them.
Off the beaten path, definitely. So
yep, exactly.
So
okay, well, sir.
Yeah,
another one done.
Do another one done. Looking forward to an investigation next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. But we'll be back here Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Yep. And
Jamie's tackling the Jersey Devil. I mean,
bring snacks.
Does that mean it's going to be 2.5 hours, Jamie?
Maybe. You never know. We have precedent now. See, as long as we were always working on like a 45-minute episode, 30 to 45. We didn't know what we were doing at first. I mean, some of this went a little longer to an hour, depending on what we were talking about, who might be with us. So I sit here and I usually have a drink with me. I get a little hoarse sometimes talking. And I will admit that after the first hour, I thought, okay, this probably won't go much longer. Drink. An hour and a half. Okay, this won't go much longer. I'm out of drink. And then at the 2-hour mark, I'm like, oh my gosh, I drank too much. I got to pee. So, it's like, and then I'm never going to tell a guest ever not to keep going because
definitely
it was awesome.
And Steve, again, thank you. We're not knocking it. It
is not a knock at all. It's just poor management on my part. And so like, obviously then we chat a few minutes after, wrap up stuff off air. And I was like, go on. So we're not going to go 2 hours on the Jersey Devil, I promise.
Jim, thank you. We appreciate everybody who comes every week and watches us. If you're here every now and then, we appreciate that. We just appreciate everybody who comes out and watches us, chats, whether it's during the live or afterwards, watching the recording.
Works for you. Yep.
We appreciate it. And we couldn't do this without you. We wouldn't do this without you because it's just Jamie and I talking then. And we could do that at a bar.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
So
not that we've never done that before.
But yeah. So thank you, everybody. Jamie, we'll see you next Tuesday, if not before. So
thanks, guys. Be well, everybody. See you in a week.
All right. Bye.